how can we make the solutions for these challenges more accessible to more African women?
You know, when it comes to like things like exercise and stuff, you don't always have to get a gym membership. The walking, you know, like for example, right now where I stay, I don't take the lift. I take the stairs because I'm trying to get my count up. And I know back home, for example, where my grandparents are, they're still very big into gardening and having a huge variety of vegetables. So incorporating more of that and having your fiber up.
Hi Tribe, and welcome to the Lebo Lion Show, where we talk all things marketing, branding, business mindset, and sometimes pop culture. It's been a minute. I know we haven't been having our conversations the way we used to, but today I have a very special episode just for my girlies who watch this podcast, because it is still Women's Month and we want to explore all the things that encompass womanhood and what it means to be a woman. And you know that I always bring the best guests in South Africa. If you want to go to a show where we have guests who actually live the things we talk about, then this is the show. And as you know, we don't introduce our guests, they introduce themselves. But before we do that, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the things that get people to like this podcast, to engage with it, and to get the right people to see it so that they can take these messages and use them in their lives to improve their lives, to live better quality lives, and just to be happier. Okie dokie. So because it is Women's Month, we've partnered up with Solal so we can speak about all the things that are concerning your mind and your body. As women, our bodies change over time, and we need to know how to navigate through the world and through our careers and everything that we do with the changes that our bodies go through. And I think today's guest understands that so well, because she's a high achieving woman. She's a boss babe, okay? And then she's an influencer, and then she's so many other things, and she's the perfect person to talk to about this. So without further ado, gorgeous madam, please introduce yourself to the tribe.
Which camera do you want to look into?
You can look into that one.
Hi, I'm Zithobe Macheli, better known as the Skin Girl. I am a beauty editor, subject matter advisor, and I'm a skinfluencer. And I just think this whole thing my whole thing is to help people become the better versions of themselves, whether it's through skin, through health, or mindset as well.
I love that, Zithobe. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence and saying yes to our invitation.
Yes, of course.
Really appreciate that. You just moved from Cape Town.
I did.
How are you feeling? How's Joburg treating you so far?
It's been the early days. It's the early days, but I'm very excited. I think more than anything, my move here was regarding work, and I'm just like, I'm trying to see how further I can push, because Cape Town was starting to feel a little more comfortable, and I'm just like, I'm always trying to break boundaries. And yeah, but I love the weather. I haven't had such consistent weather in the past 3 years.
Because Cape Town weather is wild.
Exactly. So it feels nice to just walk out and not have to carry a jacket everywhere I go.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so how's Joburg been treating you so far?
It's been good. I've been seeing my friends, my family, and just spending time, which is something I haven't done in a very long time. I see my family every now and again, so being able to just call my sister and I'm like, hey, come, let's chill.
Yeah.
It's been very lovely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Welcome to Joburg.
Thank you.
This is one of my favorite cities in the world.
Okay.
So I only have good things to say about Joburg.
it.
Even though people have some negative things, it's fine.
Yes.
But I just think, like you said, it's one of the best places to launch your career.
100%.
If you really want to take your South African brand and take it to the world, Joburg is the right place to be.
Agreed.
Almost every brand is here, right? But I invited you today so we could talk about our minds and our bodies and our health, right?
Yes.
And I've been following you for some time now, and I just love how you effortlessly weave the work that you do into the normal everyday challenges you have as a woman, right? Because it's not something people are very comfortable to talk about, but you just do it so well, and you make it look so cute as well. And it just makes the conversations feel comfortable and just normal to have, right? So I want to start our conversation with PCOS. I saw on your content that you say that you experience PCOS. we've heard that term before, but what is PCOS?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because when I also got diagnosed, I was like, wait, what is that? But PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is it's a hormonal disorder, basically. And what happens is that because your hormones are not balanced, then cysts start to form around your ovaries, which leads into many things like irregular periods, infertility in women, and that also spikes other things like insulin resistance, which can, have
weight
its own
gain.
100% its own health complications.
Yes.
So basically, that's what it is. There's a lot of theories around it. It can be caused by so many things. It's quite a complex condition to have, to be honest. I'm also here trying to navigate it through other people's experiences, through reading journals, and obviously having conversations with doctors, which but yeah, we'll get into that.
How did you find out that you have PCOS?
Okay, so I found out last year that I have PCOS. I went to the gynae because my period was irregular, and I was like, okay, I definitely know that I'm not pregnant because I'm not seeing anyone. And I was like, okay, let me go to the gynae, go find out what the issue is. And we did some scans, and he saw some cysts around my ovaries, and he was like, oh, this is PCOS. And yeah, but my symptoms really go way back. When I started my period, I think I was around 13 years old. My period came, I think for the first 3 months it was regular. And then after that it was just, I never saw my period. And I told my parents about it, and they were just, my mom was like, okay, let's go to the doctor. We got to the doctor was like, this can happen, especially when she's growing. Yeah, she's growing. But also at that time I was struggling a lot with acne, which is what got me here, the journey of healing acne. I had terrible hormonal acne, which later on formed into cystic acne. So then I was able to heal my skin, through skincare, science education. But years later, I started to form an eczema around my neck, right? And at the time, I was working with an aesthetic clinic. So she was just like, you know what, it is eczema and we'll be able to treat it. But this thing it was not the normal kind of eczema, because we would treat it, but then the flare-ups would still come up, and even with all the treatments that I've been put on, it would still flare up. And then I got a DM from a lady. She was like, I've been following your journey with the whole eczema thing. I think it might be insulin resistance, because my husband is experiencing the same thing in the same areas.
Whoa.
And I was like, I didn't take that. I was like, no way.
Who is she?
Who is she?
She doesn't know me.
But when I got diagnosed, then everything started to make sense, with also the weight gain, because I've been a skinny legend all my life. Literally skinny legend. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's making sense, even with the fatigue. There's a lot of things that come with like PCOS, but when I got diagnosed, then everything just started to make sense. Yes.
I like that you're saying that, right? Because at least from my perspective, growing up as a woman or a young girl, you're almost taught that the discomfort of the things that happen to your body are normal. Exactly. So you don't question it and think something might be wrong. You go, oh no, this sucks. That's what it is. Exactly.
And then you become
exactly. And then you become a woman who also does the same thing. A grown woman who goes, oh no, this is painful. That's just normal.
Fine. Exactly.
But it's actually not normal. So I like that you're highlighting the fact that it's not normal. So you go to the doctor, they tell you about this thing called PCOS, they tell you have it. What's your initial reaction?
So the way that I got told was, and I think also I went to a male gynae. That was the gynae that was available and closest to me at the time. So he tells me, and he just puts me on supplements. He's like, okay. So in my head I was like, okay.
What kind of supplements?
It was inositol, which is it's a supplement that has all these nutritional benefits. Yes. But he puts me on this inositol, and I just don't get information from him. I get home and I'm very confused. I'm like, okay, what is this? So I start doing the research. And I think that's when I was like, okay, now I need to start changing up a few things. in my life. I need to, to look at my lifestyle. What is it that I need to change? What is it that I need to implement? And with PCOS, there's a lot that you need to do.
Yeah,
it's food, because with having the insulin resistance, it's also just another layer on top of it. So yeah, I got home, did my research, and still am trying to find my feet with it and discover actually what the thing is, because I have gone to a few doctors afterwards, and I come back from the doctor actually feeling very confused each time. There was a lady that I was seeing, I was starting to feel very comfortable with her, because I'm like, this is a woman, she'll be able to help me and walk with me through this. But the more you go back to the doctor, the more you realize that at the end of the day, like, the pharmaceutical industry is a business. So even like, I feel like my symptoms, we're treating symptoms and not the root cause. I've asked, let's do tests, let's run tests, let's see, is it a hormonal thing? Is it my thyroid? Is it my liver? Is it my gut? Is it the microbiomes? Like, what is it? Yeah.
And what have you found it to be so far? Because you're still quite new in your journey.
Yes.
But you said you had to make some changes. What are some of the changes you've made? And what have you identified as a possible root cause?
Diet is a big one.
Okay.
So I've changed up my diet. I'm pescatarian right now, so I've cut out a lot of meat.
Why did you choose to cut out meat?
Because when I was doing research, and when it comes to disease, meat causes a lot of disease, right? Okay. And I was like, okay, let me cut down on that and let's see how that goes. And sugar is also a big one, because every time I will go out and eat with my friends, I'll come back and I'll start feeling my eczema flare up. And eczema for me is one of the symptoms of PCOS. And I'm like, okay. So even when we were having coffee earlier, I said, can we not do sugar, please?
Yes.
So yeah, those are the things that I've started to change up. And the gym, in 2022 I was on like a hectic gym. I was in my gym buddy era.
Gym girly.
Yes. And it was I was doing intense exercises, because I was just like, I'm trying to lose the weight. And I figured that your body, when you have PCOS, your body sees it as stress. And when your body is stressed, it tries to protect itself, and the more you gain weight. So I've tried alternative, more slow, more paced workouts. So I walk a lot, and I'm doing bar now, which I'm enjoying.
Okay. Welcome to the bar club.
Thank you. So those are the things that I've noticed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, because I told you before we started filming that I also have like hormone imbalance issues. So I take supplements and stuff.
Yes.
But the exercise thing is such a big one, and people don't realize that. It's like when you gain the weight, you don't add more stress to your body by doing hard, intensive workouts. You actually put less stress. You try to reduce that cortisol in your body instead of just like piling it on and then stressing yourself.
Yeah.
You're a woman, you're succeeding in your own right, doing what you do. How did PCOS affect how you do life and how you do your career?
In many ways, Lebu. I've been experiencing a lot of fatigue. Naturally I'm a napper, but with PCOS, I find myself feeling very tired a lot, sleeping a lot, and it's like I make sure sleep is my priority, 8 hours, but sometimes 10 hours, and I would wake up and I'd still be feeling super tired, and it's like it affects your productivity. And also with the weight gain, a lot of my work is in front of camera, and you sort of see yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, I have moon face right now. So I'm like, but you also, it's another journey as well of learning to accept yourself and love yourself, because at the end of the day, how I look is not really who I am. I am who I am because of the person, my values, how I treat other people,
Yeah.
But yeah, it does kind of have an effect on the work in that sense.
I like that you're saying what you're saying, and you're not afraid to say, oh, the weight gain does affect how I feel and how I show up.
Exactly.
Because a lot of us want to make it seem like it's nothing, but it really impacts your confidence quite a lot.
Yeah.
And you can find yourself almost pulling away from opportunities because you look away that you're not used to, and you can't stand it.
Of course.
I like that.
Yeah.
So Solal has a lot of products in their offering.
Okay.
And some of them will help with like hormone balancing. They've got like L-glutamine, which helps with the gut lining.
Yes.
If you had to pick a supplement that you were going to use, only, let's say two only two, and you can pick any because Solal has quite a wide range.
Yes.
What would you pick and why?
Okay. So the first one would have to be a gut one.
Okay.
I'm trying to rebalance my microbiome because I've been watching a lot of documentaries actually on nutrition and health, and I've realized that a lot of conditions are caused by the gut. So yeah, gut and magnesium, because as I said, I prioritize sleep.
Yes.
So I'm a very big magnesium girl. Just pop one before, like an hour before you go to bed, and it really does improve the quality of your sleep. And I am a morning person, you know, and it's not nice waking up and feeling tired.
Tired, yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think, you know, that gut balance conversation, I don't think women of color have that conversation enough. Right?
100%, because we were not raised like that as well.
We were not.
Yes.
We weren't. We were literally raised to think that if something's wrong, you just take a laxative.
And then you'll be...
And you'll be fine. You'll be clean from the inside.
100%. But you know, living in Cape Town, right? A lot of people are very health conscious, but it's also because they have the luxury of time to sit down and find out all these things and do the research and live that life.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of the black community, like people are forced to wake up in the morning, go to work, do this, do that. You don't have the time to the luxury to sit down and just, you know, read what the nutrition can do for your body or what causes disease, which is unfortunate. But with these kind of conversations, they're very important to have so that more people can be educated. And with me as well, I had such a great opportunity to have a housemate that is like super into health, and she taught me a lot, a whole lot. She's very healthy. She was 45 but supermodel, super healthy, and I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so if there's a woman watching this podcast and she's like, okay, Zithobe is saying something I can relate to. I haven't gone to the doctor, but I'm relating to what you're saying. What are the 4, or you can make them 3 or 2, doesn't matter. But what are some of the things that a person who feels like they might have these symptoms, what should they be doing? What are the steps they should be taking to address this? So even if they've got a diagnosis and they feel like whatever the doctor gave them doesn't fit how they're feeling, what should they be doing?
Yeah. I think the first one is incorporating exercise. It doesn't have to be a hectic thing. Just walking, get those 10K steps in. That's my thing. If you follow me on TikTok, you know, like I'm a 10K step girl. And assessing your lifestyle, and you know, like I'm a social being. I love being out. I love going to have cocktails with my friends, but I don't have 4 cocktails anymore. I'll have like 2 cocktails and try to incorporate other things, you know. And supplements, you know, I think, as you said, we don't have enough conversations around supplements, but I would say gut supplements and the magnesium. Magnesium, I love magnesium.
Me too.
It has made such a huge difference. And the inositol, it's so amazing. It is a little pricey, but you get all these nutritional benefits. It's a great supplement, and I've seen a change ever since I've started taking it. I'm on this journey of trying to lose weight, and it's become easier. Like I can see the kilos drop when I stand on the scale. And the other thing is prioritize hydration and sleep. Prioritize hydration and sleep.
Because also the older you get as a woman, the harder it is to do the cheat code type things and for them to work.
100%.
Right? You can't starve yourself to skinniness anymore.
I wanted to add that one
Yeah.
as well. You know, I think a lot of us think if you're not eating, then you'll lose the weight. But you're actually wrecking your hormones. So do eat, incorporate. As I said, I am not pescatarian, but I haven't cut out on meat completely because I do need a protein source. So protein is a big one. And the order in which you eat your food as well.
Yes.
So fiber first,
Yes.
then protein, and then end with your carbs, because if you do have PCOS, insulin resistance, it just means everything just converts into sugar in your body. So yeah,
I agree. That's actually one of the things I've been doing, and it's been working so well.
Yes.
Just how I eat the food on my plate.
Exactly.
And when I look back at, you know, those TV shows we used to watch, and they'd have like families sitting at the dinner table,
Yes.
they actually ate in the right order. 'Cause
Yes.
salad comes on the table first, you eat the salad,
100%.
then that
the
leaves,
protein.
then everything else comes.
Yes.
And I was like, when did we change how we eat? Is it because we live alone? No one's eating at a table
True.
anymore? But it's so interesting when you look back now, you're like, those habits actually made so much sense.
True, because also when I was little, I used to visit my grandparents a lot, and they live like in the village and like in the rurals, and veggies and like good food sources are like prioritized. It's a norm, you know. So yeah, I think we need to go back to the ways of being. And sorghum is also great.
Sorghum is amazing.
Sorghum is great.
It is.
Ijang mabele.
Exactly, and it's inexpensive.
Exactly.
It's inexpensive.
Yes.
Solal has a hormone balancing product that I've tried, and I really enjoy it because I find that it's not always easy to keep up with the hormone balancing activities.
Yes.
Right, how do you eat your food, not skipping meals. I'm a city girl, I'm always busy. I skip meals quite often. I don't want to, but it happens. So when those kinds of things happen, I find that the hormone balancing supplements really do help in just managing that. Then what I also found was that when I take hormone balancing supplements, my appetite would go up.
Yeah.
Which is so frustrating because you don't want to gain more weight. You don't want to get a bigger moon face. Because I'm also a moon face person.
Yeah.
So when I gain weight, my face gets round. And you just feel so unattractive. How does a person who experiences PCOS or any other diseases, should we call it diseases?
Yeah, because it's a disease.
Exactly.
Like you're not at ease.
Exactly.
Yes.
How does a woman who's facing that disease, how does she work on her confidence so she can show up in the modern world that we're living in?
It's a very important question.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to that, it's very nuanced. But I always say working on your self-concept is very important, you know. And just having a great support structure. Like sometimes when I speak to my friends, I feel so much better. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not loving this. I'm not. And women, that's the thing with girlhood. Like I just love having my friends and my sisters around because of that. But most importantly, as I said in the beginning, that now I've come to understand that this is the vessel that I come with. But also outside of just that, who am I outside of this vessel? Like what's my moral compass? How do I treat other human beings, you know? So yeah, it's difficult to navigate, but also creating that community really has helped me a lot.
And what are some of the misconceptions people have about PCOS and just women who experience these challenges? Because I can imagine they're quite a...
You're lazy, that's why you're gaining weight. You eat a lot, that's why you're gaining weight. And it was when, you know, it's bad when you haven't seen people in a while and they're like, oh, are you pregnant?
Oh,
and I'm
my
like,
Lord.
Babe, no. I'm just
How do you ask that question
literally,
also?
you know, and that's the other thing, that people feel so comfortable to say anything about women's bodies, and I'm like, you don't know what anyone is going through. So there's a lot of misconceptions, but I think the biggest one is laziness. You eat a lot. That's why you're gaining weight.
If you just stop eating so much.
Literally, and I'm like, babe, if only you knew.
If only you knew.
Yeah.
And somebody who's experiencing the skin problems, because you've got beautiful skin.
Thank you.
What did you do to get it to look like this?
Yeah, skincare education helped a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a nerd. I love to read the journals. I love to read anything that's going to inform me on a particular matter. And with the acne, as I said, I had hormonal acne, which later on turned into like a mild cystic acne. And salicylic acid was a big one. Firstly, having a complete skincare routine, so a basic skincare routine, which would be your cleanser, your moisturizer, and sunscreen. And also, if you think that's a little bit too much, then get a moisturizing sunscreen, a moisturizer that will double up as a moisturizer and a sunscreen. And then serums. Serums contain such high concentrations of ingredients that are able to target the issue. So with acne, salicylic acid is great, AHAs, which are alpha hydroxy acids, and also hydrate the skin. Don't forget to hydrate the skin. Sometimes our skin is dehydrated and your skin barrier has been wrecked, and your skin, reacts by causing the acne. But also, you need to know where the acne is coming from, because now if you're just treating the symptom, you're not dealing with the root cause, which has been my biggest realization, that in a lot of these skin issues, or just disease in general, we treat symptoms and not the root cause. And that's currently my battle. I'm like, let's find what the root cause is, you know?
And a lot of the time, like you said, it's from the gut. Most things come from the gut.
Yes.
Most of them come from the gut, and people really don't want to take that. They want everything else
besides that.
And I find that the supplements work because of that. So they addressing the gut problem, not necessarily the topical things that you see. It's literally about fixing you from the inside, or healing you from the inside.
100%. And I've also heard that the more you introduce a variety of like foods, obviously, and I'm now talking about like healthy foods. You need those different
vitamins and minerals all of those
and
things.
I think it's bacteria that lives in your gut. You need a variety of those. So even when checking for like gut supplements, just look at what do they call them?
The microbiome. What? Biodiversity.
Biodiversity. Yes, thank you. The biodiversity, because you don't want to be feeding just one. Oh my gosh, the word is not in my head right
I know
now.
what
it's
you
the scientific word.
Yes,
you want a variety of it, and that's the biggest thing when I'm choosing gut supplements
and that kind of thing. I agree. I've been using L-glutamine for some time now.
Okay,
and that changed the game for me.
Okay,
because I used to take a lot of antibiotics. So antibiotics ruin the gut health, the lining.
Yes.
L-glutamine strengthened that, and that allowed me to navigate through my hormonal problems a little bit better.
I see.
Yeah. So what
maybe
my
I should
doctor
start incorporating that.
You should. I went to a holistic herbalist. That's what she calls herself. And she was the one who said, no, supplements are the way.
Please.
And I was like, babes, I need a quick solution. I'm a city girl. I don't have time for supplements. And she said, just try it. And she likened it to L-glutamine is like a glue or a cement that you fill the holes in your tummy with. And so it strengthens your stomach lining.
Okay.
And
you need to hook me up with her.
I definitely will. She's awesome, but she's Mrs. Supplements. I know magnesium from her, L-glutamine from her, even trying the different hormone balancing supplements, I know from her. So she kind of guided me on that journey of how do you do it, right?
Yeah.
So for a woman who's watching this podcast and she's thinking, Lebo and Zithobe are giving Cape Town yoga girls, gym girly, and I can't relate to that, but I'm experiencing PCOS or other hormonal issues that are affecting my life. And the conversation is sounding expensive, right? How can we make the solutions for these challenges more accessible to more African women?
Yes.
How do we do that?
It's a good question. When it comes to like things like exercise and stuff, you don't always have to get a gym membership. The walking, like for example, right now where I stay, I don't take the lift. I take the stairs because I'm trying to get my count up.
Yes.
So it could be simple adjustments like that. Walk more. And I know back home, for example, where my grandparents are, they're still very big into gardening and having a huge variety of vegetables. So incorporating more of that and having your fiber up. Fiber and diet go together.
What is fiber?
Fiber.
For people who don't know.
Oh, okay. So fiber is food that helps with your digestion.
Okay.
So foods like avocado have fiber.
Spinach.
Chia seeds, spinach
Salads.
has salads,
Yeah.
yes, and the berries also are very high in fiber.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Apples are high in fiber.
They really are.
Bananas are high in fiber.
They are.
So just incorporating more of that stuff.
And what about teas?
I know green tea is a thing, but I'm not a big tea girl. I'm not at that age yet. But yeah, green tea. I've heard a lot of amazing things about green tea.
Yeah.
And castor oil as well, like massaging castor oil around your ovaries. That's a big one. Castor oil is able to penetrate the skin and just help break down those cysts. Yeah, there's a woman. It's just that her name runs out of my head, but please just write it in the description box or somewhere.
Okay.
But she comes with a lot of solutions when it comes to diet and incorporating herbs and things that I think are very accessible to a lot of people, and just household ingredients that are able to help you.
And I love that because it's important. I think once you start incorporating household ingredients and changing your diet, you realize that most of it is in your hands.
Definitely.
Right? The supplements are nice, but they're supplementing. Right? So they supplement the things maybe that you can't incorporate, but everything else you need to be responsible for that. Have that berry smoothie in the morning if you feel like you don't know how to eat a proper breakfast sitting down. Just those small changes I think work very, very well. And I like that you've been able to articulate that so simply. Like there's this thing called PCOS, but it's not going to end your life.
Yes.
You can still have a life with
outside
it.
of 100%. 100%. And I just think there is more to find out about PCOS. I think it's also very important just to follow other people's journeys. As I said, it's different for everyone, but there's more information that the industry needs to really dig deep into, because doctors will tell you, oh, there's not much that's known about it. Yes. And I'm just like, okay.
But there's so many of us with it, so
that's
how come?
True.
How come?
That is true. But yeah, let's, I don't want to say controversial things, maybe not. But people make good money from women. That's all I'm going to say. Whether it's societal stuff or health things. Yeah, it's a very tricky conversation to have, and there's so many layers to it. But you are right, and what we can do is empower ourselves with podcasts like these and these kinds of conversations where we kind of probe into it in a positive way. Of course, yeah.
Telling people what kind of diets they can have, etc. I think that's very empowering. Yes. I think a lot of people don't even know that you can address these issues with things like diet and exercise. Before we end this podcast, because we don't really have much time, and I wish we did, because I know a lot of people are going to find value in this conversation, I'm going to ask you 4 rapid fire questions. They have nothing to do with anything. It's just to show everybody that you are still a human being. You've got a life, you've got taste, and it just is what it is. It's fun times.
Okay, let's go.
Nothing crazy.
Let's go.
Are you ready?
I'm excited.
Are you sure about that?
Well, let's go.
Some people lose their cool in these rapid fire questions. Okay, your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, I love a good avo toast.
Okay.
An egg.
Okay. High five, that's me too.
That's my thing, literally.
You're an avo toast girly.
I am, and that's also because I don't really like cooking like that.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I know, and it's such a controversial thing, because people will be like, oh, you don't cook? And I'm just like,
You live alone, or like you're a single woman.
Literally.
Cooking is not the priority.
Yes.
You can literally eat soup or nothing.
Exactly.
I think that's the worst part. But as a
Yeah.
single woman, you can just get away with
Yeah.
not doing
Not
too
doing-
much.
Exactly.
Favorite place? Where would you like to go? Where would you like to travel to? What's one of your dream destinations?
Right now?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so many. I have like on my
Choose
TikTok.
three.
Choose three.
Yeah.
Okay, Zanzibar,
Okay.
definitely. I want to go to Kenya so bad,
Okay.
and I want to go back to Dubai.
Dubai.
Yeah.
What's so? I always keep asking myself, like, what is so nice about Dubai? I've only been there twice.
Okay.
And both times I stayed for like 2 days, and I was.
And you just like, well, for me, to be honest, I get inspired so much by lifestyle and how people live. And I think me moving to Cape Town was also about that. I was like, okay, if they can do it, I definitely can do it.
Yes.
But when I was in Dubai, I was able to meet so many creatives.
Really?
And the conversations about money and how people make money in the creative space, I was just like, there's so much money to be made, you know? It was very inspiring. It was very inspiring. And one of my high school mates lives there, and he does crypto and whatever. And there's a lot of opportunities.
He's doing well.
He's doing amazing.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, that's
Yeah.
very good. I'm not sure if I should ask you this question, but I will.
Okay.
Anyone who's watching who's a skin influencer, what are the top 3 things you tell them if they want to penetrate this industry? Because you're also a
Okay,
beauty
that's
editor, so you know the behind the scenes as well.
Of course. The niche down. Niche down. It's a big one. There's so many subcategories within skincare. You need to be known for something and be an expert at what you do, right? Secondly is I know a lot of people just, create content because it's pretty, it's cute, but it needs to be valuable. Right now, value is what's paying the bills. Because if you come and you say to a brand, this is how much my rate is, they're not going to dispute it because you're coming with something, right? And the third thing is, what's the third thing?
Content creation.
Oh yes, of course, content creation. Invest in your content. Create high quality content. Let the visuals be clear. Let the audio be clear. Yeah.
I've seen, and now I'm diverting.
Okay.
We do need to end the podcast, but I just want to ask you this one
course.
thing. I've seen in the skinfluencer space, there's been controversy about how some skin influencers put on makeup and then they act like it's just their normal skin. What's your take on that?
I think I find it to be very unethical, to be
Yes.
honest.
Yeah.
I do think it's very unethical, and there are sometimes even brands sometimes would say to people, do this, do that, and I'm just like, no.
Yes.
So yeah.
Does it pay to be ethical?
Does it?
Does it pay?
Does it pay to be ethical?
Yeah, because some people will say, but my bag.
That's
if I'm gonna be.
That's the thing. It depends on you as a person. To be honest, I do know that though. For me, myself, and I, karma does like to find me if I'm doing things that are not ethical. Especially when people trust you and people believe you and
Yes.
people It depends on what kind of relationship you have with your community. I know my community loves me they trust me, so I don't want to do anything that can jeopardize the relationship that we have. Exactly. But that's a very valid question. Does it pay to be ethical? Not always.
We could have a full-on debate about this.
It's another conversation.
Exactly.
But I always say, do you, and at the end of the day, you know what your purpose is and who you are trying to appeal to. My audience is the reason why I'm here today, and those are the people that I also want to have a good relationship with.
I get you.
Yeah.
You're a PCOS girly. You've also got challenges with your hormones and sleep and all of these things.
Yeah.
What are the 3 words that define you or describe the new version of yourself after you realize that you have PCOS?
I'd say resilient. Because it's a new thing every day, and it's a new struggle every day, and you have to fight through it, and you still need to show up. I'd say connected. I think I'm more connected to my body. I'm doing things to understand my body more and hear what my body is feel and hear what my body is communicating to me. Thirdly, I would say confident, which is weird because I did say that PCOS does take you aback a bit, but it's helped me come out more and talk about it, and in a very comfortable way. And it has, as I said, sharing it online has been my thing. And you need to have a certain type of confidence to let people into your life in that way, and just speak to people as well.
Can I add a fourth word to that?
Word, yes.
Powerhouse. That's what I think of when I look at you, when I look at your content and engage with you. And you do it so well. It's classy. You're a lady about it, and I mean that in the best way. You've decided what your lane is, you've decided what your brand is, and you fully encompass it. You're not apologetic about that. And to me, that's somebody who's a powerhouse.
Thank you, Lebo.
Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Of course.
I feel like next time we have to have this conversation, but like on a bed in pajamas, just chilled vibes, talking to each other about what a big sister and little sister would talk about, because I think this is the beginning, but I know people will want more. I know people will say, okay, you guys have said X, Y, Z, but then how do I do this? Dating, when you have these kinds of challenges,
it's a conversation.
It's a conversation.
It's really
all on
a conversation.
Its own.
We're actually having this conversation with my friend. 2 days ago we went out for dinner, and really a lot of people are struggling. It's
a jungle out there.
It's a jungle.
Do you have any message that you want to leave the ladies watching this podcast before we close off?
Yes. As a woman, life is you'll forever evolve. There's always going to be something coming up, and just stay true to who you are. To be honest, I think it gets crazy, but just knowing yourself and being grounded in who you are, you won't really be shaken that much. So stay true to who you are. Listen to your body. Your body's always communicating to you. Your intuition is always talking to you. So take those signs and stay grounded. Stay connected. Be true to yourself. I love that message. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. Of course.
Guys, you guys heard this conversation. It was pretty deep, I think, for the climate that we're in, and the fact that so many women do actually experience these things, and they don't have safe spaces where they can have these conversations. So I think what Zithobe has done for us is opened up our hearts and our minds to being okay with having the conversations in the spaces that we occupy. There's nothing embarrassing about being a woman and expressing all of it, the challenges and the good things. Until next time, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and do all the things that get people to watch this podcast. And please leave questions down below, and we will find other ways to answer your questions. Maybe even have another episode where we talk about other conditions that you guys might be facing that we haven't covered today, or just zero in on some of the things like diet, like exercise, whatever the case may be. So please leave your questions in the comment section below. I'm going to leave links as well to the Solal website, to the different creators we've spoken about, and to Zithobe's socials, so that you can follow her, connect with her, and learn about your skin, learn about your health, learn about PCOS, and just being a woman in a big city. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget that the best way to eat an elephant, or the only way to eat an elephant, is one bite at a time. Love you.
I love that.